Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so excited to dive into this with you today. Look, if you've spent, any time at all working with enterprise data, you already know the core problem we're all facing. It is messy. It's chaotic. It's scattered across a dozen different systems, and trying to make sense of it can literally feel like drinking from a fire hose that's spraying in 5 different directions at once. But today, we are going to change that narrative. We're going on a guided factory tour of what we call data products. We're going to look at how we can systematically transform all that raw, chaotic material into a highly refined, incredibly valuable business asset. So here is our factory floor map for today. First, we'll meet the data product. Then we'll look at the 8 core attributes, walk through the 7-phase life cycle, and finally, check out the modern data tooling ecosystem. Let's get right to it. Part 1, meet the data product, and really a whole new way to view data.
Okay, so the absolute most crucial point here is this. A data product is a curated, self-contained data asset designed, built, and maintained using product management principles. Really think about that for a second. We aren't just hoarding information anymore. The main intent of this entire framework is to completely decouple the people who make the data, the producers, from the consumers who actually use it. By putting a proper product management wrapper right around the data, we guarantee freshness, we guarantee accessibility, and honestly, most importantly, we guarantee trust.
It's basically night and day when you compare it to our past experiences. The old way of doing things? We treated data as a mere byproduct of our application software, or worse, just a one-off database dump. It was the digital equivalent of holding things together with duct tape and string. You know the drill. You'd ask for a report, and someone would manually extract a CSV file that was out of date the exact second it hit your inbox. But the new way, the data product way, it treats data as a first-class product. It is a curated, trusted asset delivered deliberately to internal or external users. It's a true manufacturing approach that finally brings order to all that chaos. Moving on to part 2, the 8 core attributes, which act as our strict quality control standards. Now, what's really interesting here is that these aren't just nice-to-haves. These are non-negotiable standards. Think of it as our ultimate quality assurance checklist. Number 1, it has to be discoverable, meaning it's actually searchable in a catalog. 2, addressable, so it's accessible via a persistent URI. 3, understandable, with clear schema specs. 4, trustworthy, bound by strict SLAs. 5, secure, fully governed by role-based access. 6, interoperable, using standard formats for seamless queries. 7, self-contained, packaging both the dataset and the logic together. And finally, number 8, valuable. It must deliver standalone business insight. Literally, if it doesn't pass all 8 of these checks, it does not leave the factory floor. No exceptions. All right, part 3, the 7-phase life cycle, taking us from raw to refined. So here we have the first 4 phases of our assembly line, which we just call the build. It kicks off with strategy and ideation. This is where the data product manager and business stakeholders sit down, define the actual business problem, figure out the target audience, and set baseline ROI goals. Next up is phase 2, design and data contracts. Before a single line of pipeline code is even written, data architects and product managers establish formal specs, stuff like schema formats, update frequencies, and security profiles. Phase 3 is ingestion and storage, and this is totally owned by the data engineers. They reliably source raw inputs into scalable storage architectures, usually using open table formats to guarantee safe transactions. And then we hit phase 4, transformation and modeling. This is where data engineers and data scientists take that raw data and run it through a medallion architecture. Think of it like a refinery, right? Bronze is the raw ore, silver is the cleaned up and joined material, and gold is that highly aggregated, beautifully refined business entity that's finally ready for use. And this brilliantly illustrates the second half of the journey, delivery and evolution. Phase 5 is publishing and delivery. Platform engineers grab that refined gold data and expose it to consumers through SQL endpoints, REST APIs, or direct data shares. Once it's actually live, we hit phase 6, operations and data ops. Guys, this is not a set it and forget it situation. Platform engineers ensure continuous reliability through automated quality testing. They're checking for schema validation, running null checks, and alerting the team if there is any pipeline delay whatsoever. Finally, phase 7 is evolution and retirement. Here, data product managers handle versioning. They smoothly transition consumers from a version 1 to a version 2 API, and they gracefully sunset stale data products when business needs pivot. And the best part? They do all of this without breaking anyone's existing workflows. Which brings us to part 4, the modern data tooling ecosystem. Let's look at the actual machinery. Now, while this whole framework is totally vendor agnostic, you still need computational scale tailored to your specific needs. Let's look at some of the heavy hitters on the factory floor right now. First up, Delta Lake. This acts as our foundational storage layer. It brings serious reliability and ACD guarantees to raw file storage. And it even offers this awesome time travel versioning, meaning downstream data products never consume partial or corrupt data. Next is Databricks. This is the heavy machinery. It's absolutely ideal for enterprise-scale engineering, real-time streaming, and training complex machine learning models. Then we've got MotherDuck. Powered by DuckDB, this is your agile, serverless analytical querying engine. It lets teams process data products super fast and locally, so you don't even have to manage massive compute clusters. And finally, dbt and SQL. This is exactly how you standardize your transformation pipelines into modular, version-controlled models that have built-in testing. Put all these tools together, and you've got yourself a high-functioning, incredibly efficient production line. So, we've covered the definition, the strict attributes, the lifecycle, and the tooling. But before we wrap up, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on for your own architecture. Are you designing a data product for internal domain teams, maybe powering a data mesh architecture? Or are you building a customer-facing external data product? Because the core principles remain exactly the same, but how you scale, secure, and deliver that product, that depends entirely on your answer to that question. Really think about how you can apply this factory framework directly to your organization today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Go get out there, stop dealing with messy data dumps, and start building your first true data product.